from Egbert Strohe and Bernhard Schneiders, Alain Michel, Jean-Marc Fresque and Rolf Billand, the experienced man with 44 wins, and Kurt Waltisberg, but only a 9-point lead there for Steve Webster, the driver, and Tony Hewitt, the passenger. So how they would dearly love to win in front of their home fans here at Donington. Once again, we'll join Murray Walker with the combinations on their warm-up lap.
And with their joint experience and the fact that they are riding an absolutely superb outfit, it's number 3 there, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt could do it, but they've got some really doughty opposition, including number 2, Alain Michel and Jean-Marc Fresque, the French pair, who are 3rd in the championship and who won this race in 1978. They've been racing a long, long time. But there is the greatest sidecar driver of all time, or was. We're looking for Rolf Billand in that distinctive day-glow outfit of his. He's right up at the front of the grid because he is in pole position as they round the Melbourne corner, the hairpin loop on their parade lap, and go up towards Goddard. There he is, the man who is definitely the opposition, 4 times world champion. He won here in 1979 and 1981. The greatest innovator in the history of sidecar racing, largely responsible for this new type of 3-wheel outfit, because you can hardly call them sidecars in the conventional sense of the word. And behind him is Kurt Waltisberg, and the engine is behind the driver, the rider. There is the combination of Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt, the World Championship leaders, who know Donington extremely well, of course. This is their home circuit. They're both Keep Fit fanatics. They are both in superb shape and leading the World Championship, with a chance of increasing that lead here with just a couple of rounds or so to go afterwards. Means that this is a critical race for them. So furthest from the camera, the great Rolf Billand, then Steve Webster, then Alain Michel, and it's a good start for Webster and for Billand. Indeed, Steve Webster outdrags the Swiss couple, Billand and Waltisberg, but Billand takes the inside line at Redgate. And now they surge on towards the Craner curves. These outfits produce over 140 brake horsepower. They're good for 165 miles an hour. And it's Webster leading, Billand second, and the crowd roars in the background. There goes Steve Webster past Starkey's Bridge. This is a long, grueling race. It is hot here at Donington, and the tyre wear will be terrific. But these two will know how to control the race if they're in front. Billand has had all sorts of machine problems and various other problems to put up with this year, but he's right back at the top of his very considerable form. And look at the way the sidecar passengers, on a space about twice the size of a tea tray, lie down, and Billand goes past on braking to take the lead at the S's from Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt. Billand looks over his shoulder, over the head of Kurt Waltisberg, and Steve Webster is famous for his aggressive, in the nicest sense of the word, tactics, and he will be fighting back. He's on the Fowler Yamaha. Dennis Trollope, who looks after that side of things, he's got green fingers in engineering terms when it comes to working with 4-cylinder engines. And it's Rolf Steinhausen in 3rd position, the West German there, number 16, ex-world champion, and the man who won the TT as long ago as 1976. But it's Billand leading Webster. Now, watch the way the passengers at some 140 miles an hour go from the right of the outfit on a right-hand bend to the left of the outfit on a left-hand bend. They've just got little handholds, and they get their backsides almost touching the tarmac. There, Waltisberg reaches for the handhold on the right. He and Billand work beautifully as a team. They've been racing together for years, as of course have Webster and Hewitt, Steinhauser and Hiller, And the pair in fourth position, Egbert Streuer and Bernd Schneiders, the Dutch couple, have won the British Grand Prix. And well, now you can see, as out of the race has gone René Progerin and Ivan Hunziker. Now you can see what a sidecar outfit looks like when the bodywork is taken off. That's the four-cylinder engine behind the rider, and I suspect that he's got gear linkage trouble. But anyway, now on lap 2 out of 24, it's Biland leading, Webster and Hewitt second. Webster looks over his shoulder, he looks back at Steinhausen, and apparently the trouble with Progerin's bike was that his front clutch had frozen up solid. And Streuer's is up into third place. This is the man who has won the sidecar British Grand Prix 4 times. Number 1, there he is. He's in fourth position. He won in 82, 83, 84. There wasn't one in 1985. It had to be cancelled. And he won last year. So there he is, Lucky Streuer. And he's in fourth position. He needs to get a bit luckier at the moment. Comes from Assen, right up in the north of Holland, which is where they hold the Dutch TT. And Streuer is now chasing Rolf Steinhausen, the German, number 16, world champion in 1975 and 1976. And look at this, here is Progerin's bike. You can see the 4 carburetors there of the Yamaha inline across the frame engine. And it's a clutch problem. You can see he's frantically screwdrivering away there. But it's still Biland. Now, Biland has got a lot to do. Out of the race there have gone Tony Baker and John Hennigan, and they look okay, thank heavens. But Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt are riding along quite happily behind Rolf Biland. And although I'm not accusing them of not wanting to win, because of course they do, the fact remains that Biland is in fourth position in the World Championship with only 38 points, compared with Webster's lead score of 60. So if Steve Webster had got to have somebody in front of him, probably the man he would most like to have there from the World Championship point of view is the man he's got, Rolf Biland. Brilliant Swiss driver, innovator. Streuer is third now. Steinhausen is in fourth position. And here is the battle for the lead. Out goes Progerin. He's got his clutch freed. Valtisberg leaning over the machine. And coming up there, 27 is Julia Bingham. On the left there is the only woman passenger in the race, Julia Bingham, partnering her husband, Dennis Bingham, number 27. And taking the inside line at Redgate. And behind the battle for the lead is this solid stream of sidecars. And look at that, what a marvellous sight. Nearly all of them have got the English fashion of having the machine on the right of the sidecar, and Webster is going for it on lap 4. Steve Webster, with Tony Hewitt alongside him, came out and had a look at the inside as Rolf Biland went into the S's, and now Egbert Streuer, the Dutchman, with Ben Schneiders, his passenger, is closing up. He's won 4 British Grand Prix. He means to make it 5. He's going up alongside Webster to take second place. He forces the Englishman wide, but Webster holds on and holds the second place. He'll have a job to push Steve Webster out of order, because Steve is a very determined rider. Now, the man who is in the lead is in 4th position in the World Championship. The man who is second leads the World Championship. And in 3rd place, Egbert Streuer is second in the World Championship. So, apart from Alain Michel, who is trailing along in the background somewhere, as Steve Webster takes the lead. Did you hear the shout there? Because Steve Webster took the lead at Redgate, and the crowd waved the programs. The crowd shout and cheer, and the English pair are not only in the lead, but pulling away. If Steve Webster wins here today, having already won in Spain and in West Germany, having finished second in Holland and fourth in Austria, having made the fastest lap in West Germany and leading the World Championship with 60 points to Egbert Streuer's 51, he will indeed be the hero of Donington, and deservedly so. But there's still a long way to go. It is a 24-lap race, and we are now on lap 5. So Webster leads Biland, Biland leads Streuer. There is Rolf Steinhausen with the continental style, because he has got his machine on the left-hand side and the sidecar passenger on the right. And of course, if you've got, it depends on the course, but if you are on a clockwise course like this one, it is disadvantageous, because you are having to run the machine round the sidecar on corners, or the majority of them. But Steinhausen, who's been racing sidecars for a long, long time, knows the score, and he's obviously decided in his mind that on balance, it's better to be on the left of the passenger. And here he comes in 4th position, and behind Steinhausen, who is 4th, in 5th position, it is Theo van Kempen, and behind van Kempen, it's the British driver Derek Jones with his passenger Brian Ayres. So British drivers and passengers are in the 1st and 6th places. And the leader is Steve Webster. Here he comes towards us. And the lap record at the present moment is held by the hospitalised Derek Bailey with his passenger Brian Nixon. 1 minute 45.6, a speed of 85.22 miles an hour. Rolf Biland really shattered that unofficially. In practice, his pole position time was 1 minute 40.2, a speed of 89.8 miles an hour, and Biland is having a look at Webster. Biland is going for the lead. Biland takes it and bumps his sidecar passenger and wheel over the curbing at the S's. It shouldn't have done him any harm, but I was talking about speeds. The fastest combination, as Streuer again tries for 2nd place, is Webster and Hewitt. They have put up the fastest lap, and of course a record lap, 1 minute 42.01. That is a speed of 88.2 miles an hour, exactly 3 miles an hour faster than the previous lap record. And Derek Bailey is a very accomplished driver. And here come the first 3 then, down to Redgate, lap 7 out of 24. Biland leads, Webster 2nd, Streuer 3rd. A Swiss combination of driver and passenger in the lead. A couple of Englishmen and then a couple of Dutchmen. Down, Craner curves. 130, I did say 130 miles an hour to the old hairpin in 3rd gear. Out of it into 4th to 5th. Round Stark, up Stark into McLean's. That's a 2nd gear corner, and out spins Chris Graf and Kurt Rotenbuehler, but they get away. Biland, Coppice corner, 3rd gear, up into 4th, up into 5th, up into 6th when they get onto the straight at 145 miles an hour. Look at the way the passengers hide themselves away. Biland has just broken the lap record. 1 minute 41.7, 88.46 miles an hour. Webster is going no slower, and nor is Egbert Streuer. The passengers, of course, wear boxing boots and not leather boots. They want the maximum traction on the sidecar floor. And Webster is having a job keeping the determined Egbert Streuer behind him, whilst he also tries to catch and pass Rolf Biland. Between the 1st and the 3rd, as they complete the lap, there is 1.13 seconds into lap 8, 1/3 distance in this 24-lap race. 140 brake horsepower, these transverse 4-cylinder water-cooled engines produce, but not Bernd Scherer's who is riding out of the race with his passenger Wolfgang Guess. As Webster goes for it. Another shout of acclamation from the crowd. But Steve Webster, thinking about Stroyer behind him as well as Biland in front of him, has got a problem. And the problem is how to catch and then get past Biland, who had that masterly out-braking manoeuvre at the S's, which they're approaching now on lap 8. 1/3 distance. This is one of the slowest points on the course. About 30 miles an hour as they go into the left-hander. Accelerate hard out of it. Up to about 100 miles an hour as they drop down to the Melbourne hairpin. This is where Stroyer always tries to get through on the inside, but Steve Webster will know that. The driver does not sit on the outfit, he kneels on the outfit. His legs are stretched out behind him, and his right foot operates the gear shift and his left foot operates the brake. And Webster is trying for the lead at Redgate, and as you can hear, he has taken it. You don't need to watch the picture, just listen to the sound. And when you hear the crowd roar, that means that Webster and Hewitt are in front again, as they are now on lap 9. Steve Webster has matured enormously in the last year or so with all his Continental Grand Prix experience. He's only been seriously in racing for some 4 years. He is an engineer. His father is an ex-British grass track champion. And so now Webster leads the British Grand Prix at Donington, the first time this sidecar top event has ever been held here, at a worthier venue I cannot imagine. Donington has proved to be an enormous success. It's got the twists and turns and the gradient that a Grand Prix circuit needs. The facilities are magnificent, and the crowd is loving every second of this 5 World Championship race meeting, especially this one with Webster and Hewitt in the lead, who travel the continent in an excellent motorhome in which they transport the outfit as well. And Rolf Biland has lost the lead, and now he has got the problem that Steve Webster had, as all 3 of them come round to complete lap 9. The problem is, number 1 behind them, Egbert Stroyers, the bearded Dutchman, who is snapping at the rear wheel of Biland's outfit, number 8, the Krauser outfit. And it's the same Krauser that sponsors the Krauser 80cc World Championship solo machines. And of course you have to be super fit to do this, because it's not just the wind pressure, it is the G-forces, which are tremendous when you're going round corners at about 140 miles an hour. And Hewitt is just there, that you're looking at, has just got these handholds. He can brace his leg. There he is, bracing his leg against the sticking out part of the under tray of the bearing on which he is riding. Now he crouches right down, and Biland is going to try and go through on power and take the lead, and he does it. He just edges out Steve Webster in exactly the same place as he did it before. But Steve Webster, and Stroyer is right up with them. Steve Webster, of course, will be watching points. He knows now that Biland has passed him twice there, and if only he can get in front of the Swiss driver and his partner, Biland and Valtisberg, he will know to close the door if he is in front on the last lap, in order to prevent Biland getting through. Rolf Biland, who comes from Ipsach in Switzerland, has had a go at racing Formula 2 cars. He's the top sidecar winner of all time, having won 44 Grand Prix, one of them this year in Austria. He won the British Grand Prix in 1979 and 1981. Is he going to win in 1987? Lap 11. Coming up to half distance. Fastest lap, the man who is leading. There he is, Biland, Rolf Biland. 88.46 miles an hour average around this twisting, turning, but very quick 2.5 mile lap at Donington. Coppice corner, into the straight. This is where Biland has taken Webster twice, and this is where he's pulling away. He's had a better run out of Coppice. He's got more momentum on, and Webster will have to watch for his second place now, because look how Stroyer is right up with him. Biland is edging away, if you can call two machines' lengths edging away, to Melbourne. Over the crest of the hill and down it. This is where, on this part of the circuit before the war, the German Mercedes and Auto Union cars used to take off at the top of the hill, all four wheels off the ground. This is a new loop, of course, which has been added to Donington in order to make it acceptable in terms of length for Grand Prix racing, and acceptable it is. And Biland is leading now by 0.6 of a second. Out of the race go Wolfgang Stropek and Hans-Peter Demling in their LCR Krauser. LCR is Louis Christian Racing. He is another Swiss, a compatriot of Biland, and he is the man who transformed sidecar racing by producing this revolutionary outfit as Steve Webster laps Chris Graf and Kurt Rotenbühler in their LCR Yamaha. And they are holding up Egbert Stroyer. Stroyer, number one, in third position, is losing time and distance here. He hasn't got ahead of Chris Graf. He has now, but Webster's been able to pull away. And we are on lap 12. This is the half-distance lap. And Biland has been able to take the chance to edge away just a little. Into the S's. Two seconds his lead was there. Now he's coming. Look at that. Beautiful streamlining. And they are immaculately built, these machines. There was a time, number 17 out of the race there, Theo van Kempen and Gerald de Haas, the Dutch pair. Well, it's nice to know that they got some racing at Zandvoort on August the 16th, as the leader, Rolf Biland, burst out of the left-hander at Goddard, and now he has a significant lead. That is 1.7 seconds. Doesn't sound very much, but in racing terms, it's an age. 32 there, of course, has been lapped by all the first three, Chris Graf and Kurt Rotenbühler. And Steve Webster has really got to get a wiggle on now if he is to try and win, as try he will, the British Grand Prix sidecar event, the first ever to be held at Donington. He would make history in the process. A plane takes off from the East Midlands airport and roars over them, and Webster now is trying to bundle past and does so. But you can see the problem. It's much harder, of course, in a sidecar outfit to get past someone in front of you than it is on a solo motorcycle, simply because of the width of the outfit that you've got to struggle past. And Biland, Webster, Stroyer has got to lap the tail end. Stroyer is not getting the luck when it comes to getting past the tail enders and midfield men. To some extent, you can make your own luck by timing the point when you get past them if you are in the lead. Derek Jones, number 9, 7, Steve Abbott, the two British pairs, and they are in 5th and 6th places. And Derek Jones, number 9, won the British Grand Prix in 1982 There he goes. There's Jones, number 9. Derek Jones. Brian Ayres, his bearded passenger, as is Egbert Stroyer, the Dutchman, who's driving the number 1 outfit. So let's have a look at Steve Abbott and Sean Smith. There they are, number 7, in the Windle Yamaha. The chassis of their outfit is not an LCR. It's designed and built by the Windle organisation in Britain. And Steve Abbott and Sean Smith have been together for a long time. 2 5th places this year, and they're in 6th place in the World Championship. Derek Jones, the highest he has finished, is in 6th place in Spain, 7th in the World Championship, 6th last year, and he's ahead of Steve Abbott and Sean Smith as they go round the left-hander, down the straight, approaching the S's now, but before they get there, they've got to go round McLean's, the right-hander, uphill that they're approaching now, then into Coppice. So, Derek Jones and Steve Abbott, the drivers of the outfits battling for 5th and 6th positions, and behind them, the men who were on the front row of the grid, Larat and Corbier, look for number 22 in their LCR outfit. There we are. So, 5th, 6th and 7th, virtually together. Larat and Corbier there, the French pairing. 8th in West Germany, and this is the 15th lap out of 24. Derek Jones, very lively sense of humour has Derek. And look at the battle for the lead, continuing on lap 15. And it's still Biland who's got it. It's still Steve Webster in 2nd place. Kurt Valtisberg partnering Biland. Tony Hewitt partnering Webster. And Webster and Hewitt now have the fastest lap. They have just broken the lap record. You will remember the gap was some 1.7 seconds. You can see what it is now. And that is because Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt and their outfit have broken the lap record. They're coming up to the point where Biland took them twice. Are they going to try to do to the Swiss what he did to them? He will know, of course, that that's a passing point. And their new lap record, Webster and Hewitt, 1 minute 41.7, a speed of 88.48 miles an hour in a sidecar outfit, is an astonishing performance, and Webster's going through on the inside and he leads. Webster leads, lap 15. Oh, lovely. That was a superbly timed movement. And now, when the crowd at Redgate on through the Craner curves and the old hairpin and Starkies see that Webster and Hewitt are in the lead, you'll hear the British roar again. Listen. There it is. There they go. I wonder, as I said in the 500cc race about Freddie Spencer, whether Steve Webster has been sandbagging all the time and had got something in reserve and was waiting, watching to take the lead and pull away. He's taken the lead. Now, can he pull away from Rolf Biland? They're coming up now. They've got a couple of men that they've got to lap. They are on lap 16, which is the 2/3 distance lap in this 24-lap race. And now the pressure is on Steve Webster. He's got to get past the tail enders. He's coming up to try and take Ivan Nigrovsky and Frederic Marnier, and there you see Biland takes the advantage, goes through and takes the lead, and that is the sort of thing that can and does happen when you come up to take tail enders. Webster made the wrong choice, Biland made the right one. But what an absorbing, enthralling British sidecar Grand Prix. Lap 7, lap 16, almost at the end of it. This is the end of lap 16, and 2/3 of the race. And Rolf Biland, the leader, with Steve Webster in his wheel tracks, is pulling away now from Egbert Stroyer in 3rd position. The gap is 6 seconds. So the race is now very much between World Championship leader in 2nd place, Steve Webster, and his passenger Tony Hewitt, and Rolf Biland, the highest number of sidecar Grand Prix wins of all time, Rolf Biland. And at the moment, it looks as though this may be his 45th win, but not if Steve Webster can avoid it. It is quite clear that as far as these two are concerned, the S's at the end of the long straight, which they are approaching now, is the critical point. It's where all the passing has taken place, except when Webster went through at Melbourne, and he tries again at the S's. But Biland and Waltisberg looks frenziedly over his shoulder, straight into the eyeballs of Steve Webster. Imagine the confidence that these 4 men have got in each other. The driver in their passengers, the passengers in their drivers, and all of them in their competition, their rivals, because they are on a knife edge as far as adhesion is concerned. Their slick tyres are slipping and sliding a lot on this surface. And now they are coming up to lap the Dennis Bingham, Julia Bingham outfit. Biland goes through on the inside. Steve Webster's lost a bit of time and distance here. There are no mirrors, of course, for the sidecar driver to look at, as there are in Grand Prix car racing. So a driver can inadvertently and accidentally hold up someone who's desperately trying to get past him, but Steve Webster has got past Dennis Bingham. Now he's got to set about closing the gap between himself and Rolf Biland on lap 18 out of 24. He's done it before. Can he do it again? McLean's 3rd gear, 90 miles an hour, up to 4th, up to 5th, up to the crest at Coppice, and Webster has closed the gap already. Now out of Coppice in 3rd gear, up into 4th, 5th and 6th, 145 miles an hour, under the bridge down to the S's. Webster is not close enough to challenge for the lead here, but he might be on the next lap. The surface was breaking up a bit there yesterday in practice, but it's been fixed and it's withstood all the tearing that it has had from the rear wheels of the solo machines. And did you see the juddering under braking of Biland's LCR Krauser outfit as he goes down to Melbourne hairpin? Up to Goddard, the left-hander, at the end of lap 18. Out of the race, another retiree, Chris Graf and Kurt Rotenbuehler, that we have seen before in the pits. Down to Redgate. Stroyer goes across the line to complete his 18th lap as the leaders, Biland with Waltisberg and Webster with Hewitt, went into Redgate. That is the distance between the battle for the lead and the 3rd place, with Rolf Steinhausen still in 4th position, with Derek Jones still in 5th place, and with the Larat and Corbier still 6th. This is still anybody's race, especially now, because Steve Webster can challenge for the lead as they come out of Coppice. He is close enough now, and he's going to go try on the inside with Biland, who drifts out a bit. Now, Steve Webster is definitely in a passing position. He's alongside Biland, but has to drop back as Biland moves across the track. He's got the racing line. He is in the lead. He takes priority, and he takes advantage of it. Lap 19. Imagine what physical condition these people must be in to do this for 24 laps around Donington. at speeds of up to 145 miles an hour. While you are absorbed in this battle for the lead, let me tell you that Egbert Streuer is still in third position, but he's now some 10 seconds behind. Steinhausen is still fourth. Jones is still fifth. And still sixth are Larratt and Corbier, who have displaced Steve Abbott and Sean Smith, who are in seventh place. Then Sir Brugge and Birchall are eighth. Brindley and Rose, the British pairing, are ninth, and the Egloff twins, brothers, are in 10th position. Lap 20. Biland and Webster, undoubtedly the sidecar Grand Prix of 1987 so far. Webster leading the championship, as I said before. Whilst he would love to win the British Grand Prix, his home Grand Prix, if there is anybody he's going to be beaten by, of the top men, he would prefer it to be Rolf Biland rather than Streuer or Michel. And Alain Michel has not been in the running this race at all, the man who is third in the World Championship. And again, down to the S's. Again, out of it. Again, Biland leads with Webster second. Talking about the driver rather than the driver and the passenger, but of course the passenger is absolutely critical. If he drops out of the outfit, needless to say, the balance is disturbed, quite apart from the rules having been transgressed. And it's the end now of lap 20, so we've got laps 21, 2, 3 and 4 laps to go. The lead changed before as Webster does it again. Listen to the Wembley roar at Donington in the background. Webster picked his moment superbly, dodged out of the slipstream of Rolf Biland's LCR Krauser outfit, and he's really winding it up now. Steve Webster is trying to make a break for it, trying to build a cushion to protect his lead in the closing stages of the sidecar British Grand Prix. He's got the hazard ahead of him, though, that he had before, and which caused him to lose his lead to Rolf Biland. 2 outfits to lap. Biland is right back with him. There's one of them, the outfits that he's got to lap. And you'll be able to see as they come down to the S's what they've got to do. Well, they haven't got to do it this lap. Now, Steve Webster always tends to go a bit wide there and let Biland come up, but not this time. And out of the race, incidentally, have ridden Pascal Larratt. There he is, the man who was in 5th position with his passenger Jacques Corbier, has lost that place, and so back into 6th place goes, and there you see Rolf Biland has got a problem. He slows right down. It looks as though he's overcooked. He's taken his glove off. Now, why did he do that? Well, he's out of the race. Biland has blown it. Biland has blown it. The Swiss pairing of Rolf Biland and Kurt Valtisberg, having ridden absolutely superbly and having led the majority of the race, are out of it and into the lead. To stay there, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt. They were leading Biland when he went out, and there is the unfortunate Swiss. I don't know whether he's trying to race on or no, because Kurt Valtisberg has got his helmet on. Well, cruel luck for the very hard trying and determined and brilliant riding Rolf Biland. And that means to say that Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt here, if they can hang on for this lap and 2 more, have got it made to win the sidecar British Grand Prix for what will undoubtedly be the most popular victory of the day, with no disrespect to Eddie Lawson, who won the 500 class, to Georges Martinet, who won the 80cc class, to Tony Mang, who won the 250, and to Fausto Grissini, who won the 125 class. And Webster and Hewitt are on their own now. There is the new second place pairing of number 1, 4 times British Grand Prix winner Egbert Streuer and Bernd Schneiders. Lucky Streuer is the right way to describe himself because he has benefited from the retirement of the unfortunate Rolf Biland and Kurt Valtisberg. There's Streuer. You can't see that gigantic ginger spade beard and the handlebar moustache behind his helmet. Steve Webster, Tony Hewitt, lap 23 now, and the crowd holds its joint breath because there is less than 5 miles now for this popular pairing to go to achieve their second win of the year. To add to the 2 second positions, there's Streuer and Schneiders in second place, and if Webster and Hewitt win this race, they will add 15 points to the 60 they already have, 75 points. Egbert Streuer will add 12 to the 51 that he already has, 63 points. So Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt would go into the remaining races with an extended World Championship lead. They would be 12 points ahead of Egbert Streuer. They are down into the S's now. Now look back and you'll see Egbert Streuer out of the race. That's Dennis Bingham and Julia Bingham, who is looking at the back of the outfit. Something is obviously amiss there. Julia kneels down to look at, perhaps it's a problem with the chain drive, but I'm guessing. Anyway, their outfit is out of the race. Streuer races on for 12 points. And very soon, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt are going to round Goddard Corner for the 23rd time. They've done it. They're down to Redgate. This is the last lap. This is the victory lap. Listen. Look. Is it a popular win? You see for yourself. And as if to underline their superiority and their dominance now that the gallant Rolf Biland and Kurt Valtisberg are out of the race, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt have got Donington all to themselves in the lead. They are now round McLean's Corner. They're coming up to Coppice. You'll see them crest the rise in a moment, burst into sight. There they are. 4th gear, 5th. They can take it very easy indeed. They know that victory is in their grasp. They can tell from the enthusiasm of the crowd, the waves, the programs. Down into the S's. This is the corner, or the 2 corners they would have had to guard their position in had Rolf Biland been with them, but he wasn't. And so Dennis Trollope's preparation, a superb engine, a magnificent outfit, and brilliant riding by Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt combined are going to give them in a few seconds' time victory at the Sidecar British Grand Prix at Donington. They're out of Goddard now. They have won. They can coast home. Tony Hewitt waves to the marshals. Steve Hewitt waves to everybody. He takes the checkered flag, and it is victory, 15 points, an extended World Championship lead for Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt as Egbert Streuer's and Bernd Schneiders finish in second place.
And there we are, the result, a magnificent victory for Yorkshire's Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt. Webster the driver, Hewitt the passenger. They extend their lead in the World Championship. Second, Streuer and Schneiders. Third, Steinhausen and Hiller. Webster and Hewitt winning it after a tremendous battle with Rolf Biland. We'll be talking to them, we hope, a little bit later in the programme.